Welcome to the True Guy Globe Brief Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for updates. Breaking news from the Negev Desert, a place where the boundaries of tradition and innovation are being tested like never before. Here in the vast, sun-baked expanse, the future of warfare is being quietly yet profoundly redefined, far from the eyes of the world. Elite Israeli soldiers, renowned for their discipline, precision, and unwavering strength, are now embarking on a new kind of training, one that challenges everything they thought they knew about being a soldier. But this isn't about mastering advanced weaponry, nor is it about the latest in cyber warfare or technological superiority. Instead, it's a lesson in the human heart, an approach borrowed from the Philippines, where resilience is as much about compassion as it is about strength. In the relentless desert heat, these commandos gather not around weapons or strategy maps, but around a gentle Filipino mentor whose wisdom comes from a culture shaped by adversity and community. He speaks softly, yet with conviction, about the power of community, the importance of shared responsibility, and the necessity of looking after one another, values that transcend borders and uniforms. The IDF is learning something new and unexpected, the sacred act of connecting with others, of building trust and empathy even in the harshest conditions. This radical experiment is quietly reshaping the very soul of the Israeli military, challenging old assumptions and opening hearts to new possibilities. For decades, Israel's strength was measured by its ability to deter threats and its mastery of cutting-edge technology. Now, a silent revolution is underway, one that suggests true power may come not from force, but from empathy, connection, and the willingness to see the humanity in others. This isn't about developing a new weapon or strategy, but about learning to see the person before the uniform, the human before the enemy. Remarkably, this movement began not after a battle, but in the aftermath of a devastating natural disaster, when soldiers were called to serve as healers and helpers, not just as fighters. Today, we witness a powerful fusion of cultures, Israeli and Filipino, where soldiers are trained not just to fight, but to feel, to connect, and to lead with compassion. And it all started with a single, powerful observation: that the greatest strength a soldier can possess is the courage to care for others, even in the face of conflict. General Elav Baron, a battle-hardened leader, was changed forever in 2023. Leading an Israeli aid mission to the Philippines after Super Typhoon Yolanda, he expected to give help, but received a lesson in resilience. Amid devastation, he saw communities sharing food, rebuilding together, and comforting each other. There was no command structure, yet perfect order, immense suffering, yet greater compassion. The Filipino tradition of community cooperation was everywhere. Baron, trained to command, was humbled by this organic unity. He realized the Filipino secret weapon was human connection. Returning home, he saw his own soldiers' strength, but also a missing element. He set out to bring this secret weapon, the power of community, to the heart of the IDF. A new mission had begun. Back in Tel Aviv, Baron's ideas met skepticism. The IDF prized toughness and self-reliance. Compassion seemed out of place. But Baron argued that modern soldiers face psychological and moral challenges, not just physical ones. He saw in the Philippines a strength rooted in humanity, an advantage in resilience and cohesion. Isolation was growing among soldiers, eroding unit bonds. Baron shared stories of Filipino families finding joy and dignity amid loss. He wanted soldiers to care for each other as family, not just as a unit. Slowly, commanders saw the logic. Empathy made soldiers more resilient and effective. The Filipino values weren't about softness, but wholeness. The decision was made. It was time for a radical experiment. Filipino mentors would come to the desert. The IDF was ready to learn a new way. The revolution was set in motion. The Israeli Defense Forces found an unlikely mentor in Captain Ruben de la Cruz, a humble yet highly respected Philippine Army Ranger. Known throughout his homeland for his quiet strength and unwavering integrity, de la Cruz was famous not just for his tactical brilliance, but for his unique ability to build character and foster unity among his troops. He believed that true leadership was about more than issuing orders. It was about inspiring trust, compassion, and resilience in those who followed him. When he and his carefully selected team of trainers arrived in the harsh, sun-baked Negev desert, they were met with a mixture of curiosity, skepticism, and even a hint of doubt from their Israeli hosts. The landscape was foreign, and so were the expectations. The Israeli trainees, hardened by years of tough, fast-paced drills and relentless discipline, couldn't help but wonder what these gentle, soft-spoken instructors from across the sea could possibly teach them about war, survival, or brotherhood. But Captain de la Cruz brought with him a different rhythm, one that began not with barking orders, but with stories. Each session opened with a tale from his own experiences, or a parable about courage, sacrifice, and the bonds that hold soldiers together. He took time to ask about their families, their dreams, and their deepest fears. He listened as much as he spoke, building a foundation of trust and understanding before ever discussing tactics or drills. This approach was completely foreign to the Israelis, who were used to being broken down and rebuilt as warriors through sheer force and discipline. The idea of connecting on a personal level seemed, at first, like a distraction from the mission. Some dismissed it as unnecessary, even soft. But de la Cruz was patient, never forcing his methods, simply waiting for the right moment to reach each soldier. He understood that trust could not be demanded, it had to be earned, slowly, through consistent actions and genuine care. Through countless quiet conversations, small gestures of kindness, and unwavering support, he began to chip away at the skepticism that surrounded him and his team. The cultural contrast between the two groups was stark. But as days passed, something remarkable began to happen. A subtle transformation was underway. The revolution in their hearts and minds started not with a bang, but with a whisper, a quiet exchange of trust, a shared story, a moment of vulnerability. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the soldiers began to open up. They shared their own stories, their laughter, and their burdens. The training ground, once a place of rigid drills and silent competition, became a space for connection, camaraderie, and mutual respect. The Filipino way, rooted in empathy, patience, and shared experience, was quietly taking root, changing the very fabric of the unit. A new kind of strength was emerging among the soldiers, a strength built not just on physical prowess but on unity, understanding, and inner resolve. The IDF was changing from the inside out, transformed by the gentle leadership of Captain de la Cruz and the quiet revolution he inspired. Captain de la Cruz's methods were simple but profound. He taught respect and mindfulness through everyday routines, like folding laundry with care. This wasn't about neatness, but about respect for self, uniform, and community. Every small task became a lesson in discipline and character. The daily ritual of folding clothes became a moment of calm and focus. De la Cruz led by example, cleaning, learning names, and offering quiet support. His humility inspired even the most skeptical soldiers. The barracks grew more orderly, and camaraderie blossomed. Competition softened, replaced by genuine connection. The soldiers became more than warriors, they became a true community. De la Cruz was reawakening their humanity. The real shift in the unit's spirit and mindset came through three pivotal events, moments that would forever alter the course of their journey together. The first moment arrived unexpectedly, during a surprise inspection. The barracks, once a source of stress and chaos, were now immaculate, uniforms folded with precision, boots lined up perfectly, and every bed made to perfection. The discipline and pride in their work were unmistakable, a testament to the transformation underway. The credit for this remarkable change went to Captain de la Cruz, whose leadership inspired the soldiers to take ownership and pride in their environment. The second moment came when a trainee named Ari faced a sudden family crisis. Instead of being left to struggle alone, it was de la Cruz's compassion and the unit's collective support that made all the difference. The captain listened, offered guidance, and rallied the team to help Ari through the difficult time. Through this, the soldiers discovered the true strength of functioning as a family, learning that unity and empathy could be just as vital as discipline. The third defining moment struck during a grueling desert exercise. A sudden sandstorm swept in, blinding the team and injuring one of the soldiers. Fear and confusion threatened to take over, but the Filipino trainer remained calm under pressure, guiding the team to shelter, organizing the sharing of limited resources, and ensuring everyone's safety. In that moment, panic was transformed into a powerful lesson in trust, resilience, and interdependence. The soldiers learned to rely on each other and on their leader's steady presence. When rescue finally arrived, the team was united and composed, not panicked or divided. They had faced adversity together and emerged stronger. These three moments proved beyond doubt that the Filipino way was not a sign of weakness, but a source of life-saving strength and resilience. The skepticism that once lingered in the air vanished, replaced by genuine respect and admiration for their Filipino counterparts. Calm, care, and community, These values became essential tools for survival, binding the soldiers together in ways they had never imagined. The Filipino way had truly earned its place in the IDF, shaping a new standard for leadership and teamwork. The revolution within the unit was now undeniable. The soldiers had changed, not just in skill, but in heart and spirit. The lessons learned from these moments would last a lifetime, echoing in every challenge they faced from that day forward. The success of Captain de la Cruz's approach led to a new doctrine, the Kapwa Protocol. Inspired by Filipino values, it became a formal part of IDF training. The Kapwa Protocol had 3 tenets: see the person, build the community, and act with humility. Soldiers learned to recognize shared humanity, foster empathy, and support each other. Community projects and daily rituals built deep bonds. Humility was reframed as strength, not weakness. The protocol didn't replace combat training. It made soldiers more resilient and whole. The IDF declared that a soldier's greatest weapon is character. The Filipino lessons became a blueprint for the modern Israeli soldier. A new era of military training had begun. The Kapwa Protocol transformed the IDF's culture. What started with one unit spread across the military. Morale and cohesion soared, conflicts dropped, soldiers became more adaptable and resilient. They left the army with deeper self-understanding and stronger community bonds. Veterans brought these lessons into civilian life, shaping Israeli society. The program deepened ties with the Philippines, creating a genuine partnership. Other militaries took notice, intrigued by empathy as a force multiplier. The quiet revolution in the desert was now a global model. The future of soldiering and humanity was being rewritten. As the sun sets over the Negev, the Kapwa Protocol leaves us with a powerful lesson. True strength lies in kindness, humility, and human connection. The Israeli military found new power in the Filipino spirit. This journey shows that real strength is the courage to connect, not dominate. Filipino values are a blueprint for survival and flourishing. The story of General Barron and Captain de la Cruz reminds us that wisdom can come from anywhere. The quiet revolution proves that even the toughest institutions can change. True, lasting peace begins with the simple act of seeing the humanity in one another.